for women that are older, you're not rebuilding, you're remodeling. I was working with another patient and she is remodeling her life. And I said, you know what? Let's look at your 5-factor model of personality, which measures 5 personality traits.
Okay.
You score really high in conscientiousness.
Okay.
That's a huge resource. That means you have grit. That means you're organized. That means you can get stuff done.
Welcome to the That's Where I'm At podcast. I'm Laura, happily divorced after spending years with a narcissist. I believe keeping secrets will make you sick and that they always come to light in the end. As women, we're often told to be quiet, don't share your story, don't talk about the things we go through. It's making women sick, sad, and suicidal. We don't have to be on the other side to share our story. This show is for the women still in the middle of the mess, but showing up bravely as they heal. It's time to share these stories with each other so we can learn, grow, and heal together. I'm Laura, and that's where I'm at. Please take note that this episode may contain subjects that may be triggering to certain listeners. Please take care when listening today. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the That's Where I'm At podcast. Today, I have Dr. Nadine. Dr. Nadine Macaluso, known to her patients as Dr. Nae, is the real-life inspiration behind Naomi Belfort's character in The Wolf of Wall Street. She survived a turbulent 8-year marriage to Jordan Belfort, marked by abuse, greed, and trauma. Following her experiences, Dr. Nae relocated to California. Her journey of trauma and healing inspired her return to school at age 39, where she earned her master's in counseling and a PhD in somatic psychotherapy. She further specialized with a 2-year postdoctoral training in the neuroaffective relational model. So I am so glad you're here, Dr. Nae.
Yes, thank you for having me.
I'm excited to talk to you about this. I mean, you know, there's more to your bio, but they can look you up if they want to know all the stuff. They want to know all the stuff. So when I was thinking about that, I read your book, I watched the movie, and there's so much I want to know because some of the things I've heard you say, like even I follow you. So of course I've heard you say different things, but I'm curious to know, just starting from the very beginning, what drew you in? And was it super quick that you were like emotionally connected to him? Like many of us, when we are love bombed, have that feeling.
Oh, yeah. So, it's interesting because my ex was married at the time, right?
Right.
And so, as the movie depicts, I went to a party with my boyfriend.
Okay.
And but they were all acting so strange. I didn't know they were all on Quaaludes.
Oh, okay.
So we left right away because as the movie depicts, somebody exposed themselves to me and I felt so much shame and so uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Most victims do. So I wanted to leave, but I guess Jordan had set his eyes on me and decided, I want her, she's mine, right? Because when you think about it, in trauma bonds, we're really objects to have, not people to love, right?
Right.
So then what happens is he vehemently pursues me, really unbeknownst to me.
Okay.
And he pays someone, or he makes someone $15,000 in the stock market to get me to meet him and her for dinner.
Okay.
So I have no idea this is a setup.
Wow.
Right. And so I show up, 22, 23, I think. It's a summer in the city. I'm in like my little shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
He sits down next to me. Now I have no idea that he's wanting to pursue me. I'm just like, I just start talking to this guy from Brooklyn. He's from Queens and we get along fabulously. Then he drives me home. I'm like, I think this guy likes me. And, he asked me for my number. And then the next day, as the movie shows, I go to my apartment and in 800 square feet apartment, there's 1,200 square feet of flowers.
Yeah. That over the top. Yeah.
I didn't really, we didn't know about love bombing back then.
Right. No.
Nobody talked about that. So I was just like, my friends were like, wow, did you sleep with him? I'm like, no, I didn't even kiss the guy.
Right.
And then really, I didn't see him because I went to model in Chicago And then I met up with him again at a gym in New York City, and we went out on our first date, and then that was it.
Yeah.
We
And,
were madly in love.
and did you know, I don't want to ask you this, but did you know he was married? Because
Oh,
even
he
some,
told me he was separated.
okay, that's what I was curious
So
about.
it
Yeah.
was 6 months later. He told me he was now separated and he had a separate place to live in the city,
Okay.
which
And was
was true.
that, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did. He had a separate place. Now, I didn't know, but she didn't know that. I
Right.
mean, in her mind, they were still married.
Right. Yes,
But
exactly.
but back then, I didn't even know people cheated.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I'm so young. I don't even, I'm
Yes.
figuring you're married.
I
So,
know. It's so, I mean, it really is true. We are, well, I was definitely societalized. As women, we're often societalized. Like, and especially, I don't know if you had that as a model. I did have that as a model growing up, that my parents were married. My parents were married till the end. And
yeah.
so I never saw that. I didn't see like cheating and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, my parents were divorced since I was very young. But honestly, what my mistake was, I should have been much more curious.
Oh, I
I
love
should have
that.
just believed what he said.
Right. Right.
But I was so gullible and so trusting
Yeah.
because what I tell you is truth. So I projected that positivity onto him
Yes.
and believed
Yes.
that what he was telling me was true. And
Yes.
so, but then we went out on that first date, and then that was it.
Yeah.
We were engaged in 6 months, married 6 months later.
Yes, that's like that was me too. We were friends before, and so then I think I was groomed. And so we were engaged within months and married a few months later. I
Right.
mean, within a year. And he did the same thing to his next wife. And it was all a grooming thing. And so it's like they have such a pattern. And that's a good thing because we can now warn others about,
Yeah.
we can keep telling them about the patterns. Okay, so you were head over heels. Okay, and
Mm.
this is the thing we have to think about. I was young too. I was 19 when we met, 23 when we got married. So really
Right.
young, not a full brain yet. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then we
That's right.
have, right, we have these people showering us with these things. For me, I had such a deep need to be loved and wanted. And when he was like, I want 3 kids and I want to get married and start living this life, to me, I wanted that picket fence husband and the
Yeah.
kids and all that. I wanted that. And so when he offered that, oh yeah, I was like hook, line, and sinker. I'll
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah. No, mine was very different. I didn't want to get married.
Okay.
I didn't. I mean, he certainly wined and dined me and took me to the best restaurants in New York City and took me shopping at Bergdorf Goodman and took me shopping at Cartier. So, I mean, that was like extreme love bombing.
Yes.
I didn't want to get married.
Okay.
And he actually coerced me and said,
Interesting.
if you don't marry me, I will not date you.
Oh,
And if
wow.
you don't have children, I will not marry you. So the
Wow.
coercion started very early.
Yeah. And
And
so I
I
want to
was
ask,
strong and I would fight back.
okay.
I was no match for him. And then I just was like, you know what? He just loves me so much.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Yeah, what were you thinking when he's saying all this? Because for me, like anytime he future faked me, right? Which
Yeah.
we did end up getting married and having kids, right? But the future faking, anytime there were these promises, oh my gosh, that filled such a need in me. So I was wondering
Yeah,
when
no,
you were
mine was
thinking,
the opposite. Mine, I was coerced.
yeah, yeah.
I was
And so,
pressured.
yeah. And so you said that he just loves me. And that's,
Yeah,
yeah.
he just loves me. Why am I being so silly?
Yes.
We're so in
Why are you,
love.
why are you being so difficult to,
Yeah.
to fight him on that?
Why should you ascribe to your values and your needs and feelings?
Exactly.
You
That's
know?
sarcasm. Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But don't you feel like maybe, I don't know how old you are, but I'm almost 59. And so like Gen X, like, and another
I'm
generation.
58. I'm
Yeah.
58.
Yeah. And so it's like we were societalized a certain way
Oh,
and
yeah.
we weren't thinking about our own needs. Be the good girl, do the right thing, quote unquote, right thing, whatever that is. Do the things you're supposed to do. Don't be so difficult. And then you'll end up with a great life. And after,
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we think about the times,
yeah.
we had the movie Wall Street, Greed is Good.
Yeah.
We had Pretty Women. right? The movie Woman, where Richard Gere comes in and saves her, right?
Yes.
So we were all really sold this myth of someday your prince is going to come and save you.
That's exactly it.
And that, while he's doing that, you should self-sacrifice and self-abandon.
Yeah.
And just be happy that you're chosen.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So we didn't think that, but it was consciously and unconsciously implanted into our brains. And I mean, the songs from the 80s.
Yes.
I Can't Live Without You, I think it was every single song.
Yeah.
Right. And it was a great time. I'm not knocking it. But from movies to music to messages from our family, from society.
Yeah.
Oh, this is what young women do. And look how lucky you are, Nadine. You landed the golden ticket.
Exactly. Yeah. And, I always talk about that. We have been societalized. Well, even as women in general, even to this day, there's so much of it this is what you should do. These are the things. And the self-abandoning, I know that. And then, so the self-abandoning thing to me, I did that for so many years. And so now I see women who don't do that or are learning how to undo that, unlearn that lesson of not self-abandoning, and then they are tagged as difficult, right? And all these things. But setting healthy boundaries is what's going to save us in so many ways with these people.
Yeah, and you can't set, if you want to know if somebody is a pathological predatory person, try to set a boundary.
Right. Right. Yes.
They won't, like Jordan would not accept my boundary of not wanting to get married, not ready to. I love my children. They're my best friends. My daughter's a therapist, just like me, but I was not ready for that yet. And so the second I set a boundary, it was like Mount Vesuvius, there was just a volcano of rage. And so, if you want to really see if somebody's pathological, set a boundary or have a need.
Yes, that's for sure. And I've talked about that so many times on the show and also in my group with women. It's like talking about the people that benefited from me not having boundaries, hated that I started setting boundaries. And then they slowly left my life. And we're like, I don't, they can only see you one way sometimes. It's like, if you're not going to stay this way, then it doesn't work for me.
And in the 90s, in the early 90s, nobody was talking about boundaries. Nobody was. And I was even in therapy. Okay. Because the second I met him, I put myself into therapy.
Oh, okay. Well, isn't that a red flag?
I was like, I can't manage this guy and all this money and have a staff of 10 and have a 10,000 square foot house and live on 5 acres, And so it was a red flag. And so I was even in therapy.
Wow.
And nobody was talking to me about boundaries. So you have to, I think it's hard for people today to really understand that we weren't having these conversations.
No.
And so while I was in this, looking on the outside, like I had the most incredible life in the world, inside behind the gates, it was such a gilded cage.
Yeah.
And there was so much coercion, abuse, and manipulation and gaslighting.
Right. And then it's hard to just for you to just say, well, I'm going to walk away. If he does this one time, I'm going to walk away, because you're losing, you're going to lose so much. And talking about that, even no matter what it is, like say a religious system or things like that, the minute we have to go, I can't do this anymore, we're going to lose our community. Right. And so, there's lots of reasons that the trauma bond and the trauma bond, why we don't leave the second something looks like a red flag.
So many reasons. So many reasons.
And sometimes, because people ask all the time, like, why didn't you leave at the first red flag? I'm like, the first red flag didn't look red. It looked sort of pink. And I said, that was weird. And because he never hit me, but I sure didn't want to be alive at the end. So, and I think you had talked about that in your book as well, one of your case studies, that she had said that. And that made me feel good, because I don't hear that from a lot of people. I hear that from some people, because I didn't have to be hit. But I didn't want to be alive anymore with all the coercive control and the lying, the cheating, everything. It's too much. People don't understand. Like, it's not just my husband is mean to me. There's so much more to it.
No, coercive control is a systematic pattern of
Yeah.
behaviors like manipulation, gaslighting, coercion, isolation, threatening, domination, right, intimidation, that creates extreme fear.
Yeah.
So you are easier to control because this predatory pathological person wants power and control over you.
Yeah.
So one of the first reasons why we don't leave is because of fear.
Right.
We are trained, we are conditioned to fear this person.
Right. And fear being without them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fear that they will harm us afterwards.
Yeah. Or even that, for me, it's like I didn't even know, and I was college educated, and I always say this, it doesn't matter, right? Because
Right.
they're not, it
Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
matter. But I mean, like college educated and still feeling like, what if I can't make it on my own? Like, what if I
Yes,
can't
of
live
course.
without? Yeah, because I was so made to feel, and so many of the women I talk to feel like we don't know what we're doing. We're kind of dumb.
No,
We'll
no.
never
Yeah.
survive without them. Right.
Yep. And, I was modeling at the time, making money, like
Yeah.
making $3,000 a day. I
Yeah.
did a Miller Lite commercial where my residuals were $50,000 for the year. So it wasn't like I
Right.
wasn't making money. But then what happens is he's like, you don't have to work.
Right.
He's like, that's nothing. I was like, oh, to me, it's something. Because
Yes.
remember, what makes the trauma bond work is that you have emotional and financial dependency on the
Yeah.
person.
Okay. Yeah.
Not just that they have more resources, it's that you are relying on those resources.
Yes. Yes. Right. The control is so, because it sounds like a good thing. I stayed home. I've had friends who have been like this, you don't have to work. And I have a friend who dodged a bullet and gave up a business and all this stuff and didn't end up marrying the guy before she figured it all out, but gave everything up, started to isolate from her family, those kinds of things. It's like, and you don't realize what's happening because it seems like care at the beginning. Oh, you don't have to work. Or you can stay home with the kids.
Yeah. Why are you going to work? Make your life easier. I'm actually a very independent, self-reliant person.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, okay, you know what? I'll run this home. And
Yeah.
of course, I went to school. I took wine classes. I took interior design courses because I'm a forever student.
Yes.
I took cooking classes. I wanted to know, am I buying a Louis the 14th chair? And is the wine, why is it so expensive? And so
Yes. Yes.
I really immersed myself in all of that. So I understood really the lifestyle I was living because I didn't grow up like that.
Right.
And I learned how to horseback ride. And so that kept me, somewhat entertained, right?
Right.
Or fulfilled. But slowly but surely, I lost my sense of self.
Yeah. That happens. It's so amazing how it happens. And sometimes you don't even realize it's happening. I
Yeah.
thought it was interesting. We've said, and I've heard you say before, and I just that you didn't even have a name for what was going on because of course, maybe the time, and this was the 90s that you guys were together. Okay. So maybe we didn't have a name for it. Not the way we do now. Right. When I left, I actually only knew the word gaslighting and I wasn't sure even what to do with that information other than I wanted to show him the PowerPoint presentation I had about how he was gaslighting me.
Yeah.
And then he would then stop doing everything that that was my delusion after 32 years. I tried one more thing. And I didn't even know that I was in narcissistic abuse, like I said, because I wasn't being hit. So I know also that you talked about when you left, did you have the trauma bond? I thought I either read, when you talked about it in your book, because I listened to your book. Did you have the trauma bond or when you were done, you were done?
Oh, I mean, when I was done, I was done. I didn't have cognitive dissonance. I had a little cognitive dissonance,
Okay.
which is caused by the two masks they wear. They wear
Yes.
Romeo and Dirty John. Sometimes
Yes.
they're kind and tender and helpful, but most of the time they're cruel, controlling, and abusive.
Right.
And that's what causes the cognitive dissonance. Is he good or is he bad? Am I crazy or is he crazy? Is the
Right.
relationship healthy or unhealthy? And that's another reason why women stay, because they're
Yeah.
very confused. Because just when they think they're going to leave, then Romeo circles back. I'm
Yes.
going to change. Don't do this. I'm going to go to church. I'm going to go to therapy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to move. So I really didn't have cognitive dissonance when I left him.
Okay.
I was done.
Yes. Yeah.
I've been so abused and just
Right.
treated cruelly, really for no reason. And you have to remember, we had a very severe drug addiction,
Right. Right.
as the movie depicts, which was very unpleasant to live with,
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
with two little kids.
Right.
So, yeah, did I feel guilty a little bit? Did I miss him a little bit? But, two things for a trauma bond to exist: a power imbalance and intermittent reinforcement, which is
Right.
what I just mentioned, the cruelty and the kindness.
Yeah.
But I left because he got arrested. And so the power imbalance shifted. He didn't have the power anymore.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And that's why I was able to leave. Now,
Yeah.
most people don't have that luxury.
Right. Exactly. And even then, like, I mean, because I was surprised when I started to understand what had happened to me. It took me a few months to, like, as I started to heal and unravel, you know, how your brain
Yeah,
starts to heal when you're not in
yeah,
constant abuse.
yeah.
It's amazing how that happens. And I was actively, like, I was running towards my healing. I was actively trying to heal and learn
Mhm.
everything I could about what just happened to me. Like, when did you feel like you wanted to start sharing what had happened to you with the world, even if it was just through your counseling and getting more education that way? When did all that start happening?
I never really had that desire ever.
Okay.
So what happened was that, I left, picked up my two children and we moved to California and to be with my current husband, who I'm with now for 26 years. I never had any desire to go public with any of it because I
Okay.
wanted it behind me. That was a Greek tragedy.
Yeah.
I can't believe I lived through it. And then my ex decided to write a book.
Mm.
I was
Oh,
like, all right. And then it became a movie.
okay. And so,
So
oh, geez.
and then I didn't even talk about the movie. The movie came out in 2013. I didn't even start to talk about my experience of it really till 2019, 20. I touched on it a little bit.
Okay.
Only in 2022 did I really go public with it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
When did you start going to school so that you could help others?
Yeah, so I went to school after I moved to California around 32. I went back to school at 39 and I was in the garment business and there was so much ageism and I didn't want to understand what was trendy anymore.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to school to become a therapist because I believe therapy saved my life.
Hmm.
I believe if I hadn't been in therapy all those years when I was with him, I don't know what would have happened to my psyche.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't really, she helped me manage it. I mean, she wasn't really naming it enough
Yeah.
because we didn't do that back then, but she helped me from going crazy
Right.
because I met with her every Monday at 1 p.m. like Pavlov's dog. I showed up to that door
Yeah. Yeah.
because I needed her so bad. And so I just said, I'm going to go back to school, but I never even wanted this specialty.
Oh,
I never
interesting.
wanted this specialty. I just wanted to work with everybody: personality disorders, couples, depression,
Okay.
anxiety. Then what happens in around 2018, 19, I saw all these beautiful, bright, smart women coming in, being abused, being betrayed, being controlled.
Wow.
And I said, we have a problem. Are we in the 50s?
Right.
That's
Exactly.
when I went back to the research and wrote my book, because all the research that's in my book, not one bit of it I learned in school,
Okay.
which is
Yeah,
so crazy
it
that as a
is.
licensed marriage and family therapist, I had one adjunct domestic violence class.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
Isn't
that's
that
when I went back and yeah, it's crazy. That's when I went back and did the research and wrote the book, Run Like Hell.
that's amazing. Yeah, great book. I loved it. Love that you like gave us some stories in there and some like case studies,
Brings it to life. Yeah.
it does. It helps you understand things that are happening in their life and then how they're dealing with it or what they're going through. I just thought that was what helpful, because sometimes I did a little bit. I have definitions in my book because I'm like, well, you got to know the definition, but it's kind of boring. So I
Mhm.
had to tell the stories. Um, yeah, that's so interesting to me that yeah, there was no information in the classes. When you were in therapy, was there even such a thing as trauma informed therapy when you were going through that? And did she ever try to tell you like if you did something better, he wouldn't be so upset? Did she ever do
No,
anything
she
like that?
wasn't like that. She was a
Okay,
really good therapist.
that's great. That's great.
Yeah, she was more, I think, helping me keep focusing on me,
Yeah.
because I was always so hyper focused on him. And so she was really just a safe, lack of judgment place for me to go every week and just dump out the madness that was happening in my life.
Yes.
And she was just listened without judgment, and she was funny, and we used to laugh a lot. And she was just a really, really safe person for me. And I
That's,
needed that.
yeah.
And she was smart. She didn't tell me to leave, because you can't tell a woman who's, in a trauma bond to leave, because that's their own personal decision. And she would have lost me as a patient.
Right.
She
Right.
was just with me in it.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And okay, so that's interesting. So that if somebody's in a trauma bond, it's going, because I have friends who said to me, yeah, I thought I saw something, but I don't know if you would have been receptive. And I said, no, I wouldn't have
Right.
been.
Right.
I would have made excuses for him that something was wrong or whatever you saw, I had an excuse for that. And it's hard because like, if you see something, it's like, you want to tell your friend. Like, I have women who say like, oh, my daughter's in a marriage that they just don't get. And I'm like, you
Yeah.
can just keep encouraging her. That's all you can do. What if somebody has a friend that's going through it? What do you say to them?
You know, Usually, do they want to be heard? Do they want to be helped, or do they want to be held? Right.
Yeah.
And I think when you're in a trauma bond, your needs don't get met, you never get heard. So I think honestly, just being there for a friend and asking them what they need, and
Yeah.
often it's just for somebody to listen. You want to keep that line of communication open so that when they are ready to leave, you're there.
I love that. Yeah. Yeah. Let them know you're available. In the movie, you talked about, well, I think I've seen you talk about it on your Instagram, that the way you told him that you wanted a divorce was very unsafe. So tell us a little bit about that. Did you really do it that way? And was
I
it?
didn't do it exactly the way the movie depicts,
Yeah.
but what the movie depicts is that I say to him, he's, getting arrested and acting crazy still. And I think he stopped doing drugs, but then he started to do drugs again in the movie.
Uh-huh.
And I say to him, I'm going to take your children from you.
Okay.
And I hit him first, and then he hits me.
Okay.
And they did that in the movie because they want you to feel empathy for him.
Oh,
Right?
right.
First of all, I never have ever told him once I was going to take his kids, and I've never hit him.
Oh, okay.
So what actually happened was that I said to him, if you don't go to rehab, I'm going to leave you.
Oh, okay.
Very different,
Right.
right?
Right.
Because I'm not going to sit here and watch you kill yourself, like all
Mm-hmm.
these sycophants that you have that don't give a shit about you and only care about your money. I mean,
Yeah.
because at this point, he's like Scarface, has a mound of coke with blood. He's cooking crack in my country kitchen. Like,
Oh my
he has
gosh.
18 prescription pills. And I'm just like, that's it.
Yeah.
You keep doing this. That's when he goes crazy, takes all my clothing and jewelry, throws them in the fireplace, lights them on fire, and then tells me he's going to take my daughter to Florida on a private plane. And he's holding her, and I go after him, and he kicks me down the stairs.
Yeah.
So very different than what the
Right.
movie depicted.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, the whole point is that I should have never told him anything when he was stoned,
Right.
but he was always stoned. And I should have just come up with a very secretive, silent plan on my own and executed it.
Yeah. Right.
But I
Exactly.
didn't know this back then. I was like, I'm going to tell him, and I'm going to, and I meant it. And actually, he did end up getting sober.
Well, and I think that, all the years that we have spent with somebody who's been telling us what to do and all that, and you want to be like, I'm leaving you and this is it, like, I
Yeah,
feel like you want, if you get some gumption, like that's what you want to
yeah.
do, but it's so
Not
unsafe. And I just tell
so.
people, yeah, we have to be strategic and we have to be quiet. I did that even though I wasn't in physical harm. I did that. I was going to be strategic in everything. And I didn't even know what was going on yet. I just
Yeah.
knew I'm not telling him anything anymore. And he would
Well,
ask me questions. I would say, like, that's none of your business. We're not doing that anymore. We're not really married anymore. That
that
kind of
was
thing.
smart. That was smart.
It was
Yeah.
instinctive. It was strange. So tell us how women are really supposed to be doing
Yeah.
this.
So yeah, so then what I say to them is once you inside have the belief, I'm in a trauma bond.
Yeah.
I have radical acceptance. This is a very unhealthy, toxic, dysfunctional relationship. You wear the mask.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
pretend that everything's fine. You start to make copies of documents. You get a new bank account. You get a PO box. You get credit cards in your name.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to get a trauma-informed therapist. If you're married, get a very good divorce attorney who's can handle this. You know, if you have the money, which is always an issue too. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of times they control the money, but or go to find a DV advocate in your area.
Yeah.
Read my book, join my community, right?
Yeah.
So be around people who get it,
Right.
but don't tell them anything till you are ready.
That's what you have to do. And I tell, and I made a video recently and I said, you're going to have to lie. We have to be like them at this
You have
point.
to be strategic.
You do. You have to be strategic so that you don't, it's possible you're going to get killed on the way out the door. You have to be careful. I mean, and we know it's the most dangerous time for women. And that's the part that's really scary.
It usually takes a woman 4 to 7 attempts to leave.
Right. Yes, exactly. Tell me about somatic psychotherapy and what that is and
Yeah.
why that's important for us.
You know, it's important because the intermittent reinforcement in the trauma bond, the cruelty and the kindness,
Yeah.
creates a biochemical addiction inside of us
Mm,
because the highs, the oxytocin and the dopamine, and then the lows, right? The stress and the cortisol. So we really get addicted to that in our physiology.
yeah.
And our nervous system becomes so hyper vigilant to protecting this person,
Hmm.
to yeah, to protecting them, to always like walking on eggshells around them so that we don't. So we really need to work on ways to first of all recognize the biochemical addiction
Yeah.
because our torture is our soother, and also on ways to really calm the nervous system down
Yeah. Yeah.
because a lot of times you're extraordinarily hypervigilant, or you can be hypo-aroused and be in freeze and be frozen,
Yes.
or you
Yeah.
can go between the two.
Hmm.
So you really need to understand how is your nervous system, not just your brain, wired
Yeah.
from this trauma bond.
Hmm.
And then once you understand, do you run more hypo arousal or hyper arousal? Then you need tools to help you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was hyper aware of everything that was going around me, but I was in freeze towards the end.
Yeah,
I couldn't
yeah,
even, I just was like
like
a potato. I just didn't do anything. And it was so sad. I mean, so many people have talked about this saying, like, I feel like I wasted so many years, but you get into that freeze mode. And
yeah.
and then also that fawning, right? Where we don't want to react to things so that they don't get mad at us and all that. And I just think about the last couple of years and it was such survival.
That's
And
right. That's right.
that's
And
all we could
sometimes you
do.
go to fawn, freeze, flight, fright, like,
Yeah.
but usually people have one or two that they go to,
Yeah.
and it's good to know. And then there are so many ways to work with the body, whether it's breath work,
Yeah.
whether it's toning your vagus nerve through humming or
Yeah.
rubbing your earlobes
Mhm.
or bilateral tapping. There are ways to calm your nervous system down
Yeah.
that
I
really work.
Yeah, and you talked about
Or you might need to wake it up, by splashing cold water if you're in
right.
freeze.
Exactly. Right. No, seriously. Yeah, I remember my therapist was so great after she said, just say yes to a lot of good things so that you can see. Because, when we get to the point we've abandoned ourselves so much, we don't even know what do we like, what do we don't like. And I was so confused. I'm like, I don't even know if I like this thing. And she said, just go try it and see if you like it. I was like, oh, because when we first come out of it, it's like I didn't have the tools to even make decisions right away because I had been so dependent on him making all the decisions.
Yeah, that's so common because the number one symptom is loss of self.
Right.
Because you have to lose your identity to keep the couple's identity.
Yes. Yes, I curated the facade. That is for sure. I don't know if you did that. If you were the
Oh,
cure.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're such good beards for them.
Right. I mean, really. And so when we got divorced, I asked my kids, I'm like, how's your dad without me? And they're like, he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to be a person.
Right.
Because I,
Because you guys were married for a really long time,
long
right?
time. Yeah, we were together 33 years. So it was a long time. Yeah. So I mean, that's the hard part. And I don't know what you talk about to women. This is the loss of self as well, is that, you're with somebody for a long time. And it really, once you are bonded, forget it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was a year or 33 years. I felt like a part of me, like my brain didn't know what to
Oh,
do. It kept asking me, don't we have a husband? And I was like, we do not have a husband. Stop asking me. I had to talk to
yeah.
myself.
Yeah. And I think that's where, grief comes in,
Yeah. Yeah.
really grieving the years, grieving the illusion, grieving what you thought it was,
Right.
and giving yourself the space to grieve that is very, very, very important.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're talking to women, so, we're grieving, we're healing, and then we're going to start dreaming for our future, right?
Yeah.
We get to make decisions now for what do we want to do? What do we want to do? And especially like women in midlife, I always say, we're not done. We're not done. We're going to keep going. Now we have freedom to do whatever we want. How, when you are talking to those women, how are they feeling? Are they feeling guilty about dreaming for their future? Are they thinking to themselves, I don't even know what to dream? What kind of things are they saying
That's
to you?
mostly what they're saying. I was doing a session this morning with a woman who was older, and she used a good word. She said, for women that are older, you're not rebuilding, you're remodeling.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot. And so what I do with all the women, I have them take attachment assessment, personality trait assessment, developmental trauma assessment, coercive control assessment. So I have them take so many assessments
Yeah.
so that they get to understand themselves. And, this morning I was working with another patient and she is remodeling her life. And I said, you know what? Let's look at your 5-factor model of personality, which measures 5 personality traits.
Okay.
You score really high in conscientiousness.
Okay.
That's a huge resource. That means you have grit. That means you're organized. That means you can get stuff
Mm,
done. Right. So
yeah.
let's really start to lean on that. But then we look at, maybe what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? How do we build up their weaknesses? And to not put pressure on themselves to figure it out right away.
Right.
To allow themselves to really go through the process of healing and getting to know themselves again.
Yes.
Then make a decision about how do they want to remodel their lives.
Right. Yes. I know. Because I wanted to be healed immediately. Like I thought I was getting rid of
Everybody,
I thought I was
everybody,
getting rid of the
everybody.
problem. So everything was just going to be hunky dory. And it wasn't. I had to do that. I had to rebuild for sure. And, I've had women say like, I just want to get back. I want to get back to who I am or to who I was. And I started to think, sometimes like is for me like being with somebody for 3 decades, I don't want to go back to being some
No,
20-year-old. It's and then I had some really wise friends say, no, you get to now reinvent yourself. You get
yeah,
to move forward in a different way, like that remodeling. It's like it's the same old house, but we get to remodel it a little bit.
yeah, yeah. And we don't want to go back to who we were because who we were was really gullible and too trusting
Right.
and
Yes.
could be really easily manipulated.
Right.
So yeah, we want to go back to, we want to return to our authenticity. We want to, I don't even know if some of us have never even had authenticity, but
Yeah.
we want to find what's authentic to us and live
Mhm.
from it.
Yes.
But in a much more educated, eyes wide open way.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. No, it's true because when I thought I was rebuilding after 33 years, like who is Laura, right? It was actually all 55 years. All 55 years it was I have to figure out who I've been, my role in the family and as a child and who have I always been? Well, I was a person who was never listened to, so I guess that's why I have a microphone now.
Right. Yes. Isn't that now you have a voice? Yes. Yes. That's great.
And so that's why I encourage others to really use their voice because literally I was doing something with my podcast and I said, wait a second, is this why I do this work? And my coach was like, yeah,
Well, that makes sense.
this is why you do that. But it's true if we've never really known who we are, if we've been in a family, maybe that has the same kind of
Thank you.
control,
Yeah.
right? And so are you seeing that? And did you have that at all in your family?
I didn't have that. I was pretty lucky. I grew up in the 70s with a very progressive mother who was a
Mm,
hip, who
okay.
was reading Freud and Jung. And she'd left my father when I was 6. And I grew up on the streets of Brooklyn. And it was just magical. So
Yeah.
I grew up in a house with yelling,
Okay.
coercion, because my mother was like, we're never going to have that in our home.
Oh, that's great.
And so I was lucky in that sense. But yeah, so I didn't have that in my home.
Okay.
No. So a lot of times, that's a misnomer. Of course, do some people have abuse and trauma in their
Right.
home? That doesn't mean I had a perfect childhood. I mean, my
Right.
parents had me at 19 and 20, so I know I was neglected,
Yeah.
right? But I wasn't abused or spoken poorly to or hit
Yes. Yeah.
or any of that. So that's the thing, right? We say, oh, she has a bad picker because she grew up in a abusive home.
Right.
Again, I can't stand that stigma. It
Mm-hmm.
places on the victim. And just because somebody grew up in a bad home doesn't mean they deserve to be in another bad home. We
Exactly.
understand how that can happen. But what I say is anybody and everybody falls for these con artists.
Everybody. Yeah. Seriously.
Good home, good enough home, medium home. It doesn't matter.
No.
Gender, socioeconomic status, sexual orientation.
Yeah.
If you're a trusting person who believes the goodness of the world, which I don't know if we can do that much more anymore with the way the world is,
Yeah.
you're going to end up in one of these.
Right. Exactly. And that's the thing. And I know that sometimes it's bots or it's trolls who are saying like, well, you shouldn't have picked that person. It's like the abuser is not walking over to you, abusing you. They are sweeping you off your feet. They are the fairy tale, the white knight, all that stuff. Like all that stuff is happening. And that's what people don't understand. I've had so many guests on my show and I've talked to so many women who said on their honeymoon, something happens. They get beaten. They find out their husband has a porn addiction, something the minute it's their honeymoon. And it breaks my heart. But I feel like they think, okay, I got you. And now the mask comes off
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
exhausting.
Yeah. And there's so much sex addiction with this population.
Yeah, it is. It's exhausting. So I want to ask if someone is listening and they read your book and then they close it and say, "Oh boy, I
Yeah.
think that's me." What would you want her to do?
What I would want her to do is first to offer herself tons of self-compassion, because I think we get blamed and shamed in society. The abuser blames and shames us for everything. And so the research shows that self-compassion is so important to healing,
Hmm. Hmm.
and basically it's that I've been in a toxic relationship. There are millions of women in the world in toxic relationships. I
Yes,
need to speak to myself as I would a best friend.
I love that.
So we have to become incredibly self-compassionate. And then after trauma, we need to stabilize with self-care. Because when we enlist in self-care, the body feels safe.
Yes, yes.
So we have to stabilize. What are you eating? Watch what you're ingesting. Stay away from drugs and alcohol. Are you exercising? Are you meditating? Are you in therapy? Are you
Hmm.
hiking? Are you going to church? Are you praying? Whatever is your form of self-care. If you need medicine, go on it.
Right.
Right? You have to stabilize with self-care to then go on your healing journey.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, that's really good. That's
And that
amazing.
doesn't mean it goes perfectly.
Well, no, but I love that we have to say that because sometimes we don't feel like it's okay to even have self-care for ourselves when we're in self-abandonment. We don't feel like that's okay. But it
Yeah.
is those kinds of things. All those different things that you mentioned is taking care of yourself. And
Yeah.
yeah, I love the list that you had put in your book. You gave so many great examples talking about yoga and talking about all the different ways to take care of yourself. I just thought it was really helpful. I just remember those times where I thought, like, I can't make decisions. Like when I was first healing, it's like, I can't make any decisions. I would have loved somebody to say, like, here's
Yeah,
some
just
things
to
you can
say, go,
try.
yeah, just go do it.
Yeah.
Right. And that's normal because, like we say, we're so disconnected from our sense of self in this. And I think when you've been in a trauma bond, you believe that self-care is selfish.
Yes. Right.
And we have to learn to have healthy selfishness. As women in general, we've just been told to give, overgive, overgive. And so we need self-care and we need to have healthy selfishness.
Yes, for sure. I love that you're using the term surthriver.
Mhm.
And so tell me what it looks like for someone to go from not just surviving, but to thriving. What's that going to look like for someone?
Yeah, so I think what happens is that the research shows that women that have experienced intimate partner violence, 75% of them can go on to experience post-traumatic growth.
Mm,
And so what is post-traumatic growth? Meaning that we become a better version of ourselves.
yeah.
We have healthier relationships. We've seen what we could survive. We feel stronger.
Hmm.
Maybe our relationship with spirituality deepens. Maybe we go and develop a skill that we become competent at. But once that oppressive dictator is
Yeah.
off of our, doesn't have the boot on our neck anymore,
Yes. Yes.
then we can really grow into ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it's not just about surviving it and just being like, all right, I survived it. It's like, okay, I survived this incredibly challenging experience. Now, what do I want? What do I need? Who do I want to become?
Right. Yes. It's so exciting. And you don't realize that you're so desperate to get, to that thriving part until you're out. I
Yeah,
mean,
and it's a process. It takes time.
it
It's 2 steps
is.
forward, 2 steps back, and everybody's
Yes.
always mad that they're not doing it quick enough. Every
I
single
know.
person I work with,
I
and I'm like,
know.
guys, it takes a good 2 years.
I know. It really does. But
And
the thing that I saw though is that those glimmers of hope, right? That
yeah,
where I would start to get clarity and I'd be like,
yeah,
"Oh, whoa." And
yeah,
that was starting to happen within the first few months of just healing. My brain was starting to rest. I didn't have someone constantly belittling me and all those things. And my brain, I didn't know what to think. And all of a sudden I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's like I have clarity." It's amazing to me. So, yeah, it's amazing how because they want to know like when will I feel better? I'm like, "Well, you'll just start to see those glimmers of hope, as
yeah.
soon as you're out." And a lot of these women who are on their way out the door that I've talked to, they can already see some things
Mhm.
and they want to start their healing. And I said, it's so hard when you're still in it. It's so hard. Don't you
So
think?
hard. Yeah, and also, a lot of times, even after women leave, they experience post-separation abuse through the court system.
Yes. Oh, I know.
And that's something we have to be prepared for.
Right.
So that's
Yes.
why you really have to have a good attorney if you were going through the divorce process. And that's why you really need to get educated
Yeah.
about all of this, because what I have found, education is our only weapon.
Yes. Yes,
Again,
for sure. Yeah. So joining a community, getting all the resources that are available, because that I didn't have to go through, a lengthy court battle.
good, I'm
Yes.
so
Thank
glad.
God. No, he was in a hurry to get to the next one. He was in a hurry. And we didn't have minor children, so we didn't have to go through that. But
Good.
it took long enough anyway. And it to me, when I'm talking to these women, it just breaks my heart. And I'm like, I am not well versed in this. So I'm always reaching out for resources for people who can help
Yeah,
because the post separation abuse,
yeah.
and they don't care. It's because they want what they want, right? They
And
just
they
want to,
want to still control you through the court process.
yes.
Put
Yeah.
in delays, keep pushing it out. I mean, they
Yes.
don't really care about family court, a lot of these
Right.
people.
It's just another way to abuse.
It is, it
Ugh.
is. So I have a whole lesson on that in my community because
Okay,
it's
great.
really important. And I just did a post about it using Bethany Frankel's divorce case.
Yes. Oh, yes. I saw that. I was so surprised. I didn't realize that it was 10
Mhm.
years. I didn't realize. I remember when they were getting divorced. I didn't realize it was 10 years. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. So she, so this is common, but we just need to know about these things to deal with them. And you
And then,
don't need to go through it alone.
And I love that you show like celebrities because like we were talking about earlier, it can happen to anybody. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors when we see them out in public in their beautiful gowns. It's like, we don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah, and that's why I've really been happy with Housewives of Beverly Hills. Really, Erica Jane is being incredibly vulnerable in this past season, talking about, even after Tom Girardi, who was the biggest psychopath,
Okay.
talking about, dating and ending up with somebody who was abusing her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh my God, they're finally using the platform for something good instead of like grown women throwing caviar at each other.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Even though I love those shows, don't get me wrong.
Right.
They're my guilty pleasure, but I was like, wow, Erica, thank you for doing that for women. And Denise Richards,
Yes.
coming out and really talking about it. And that's how we break the shame
That's it.
we stop the silence.
Yes, exactly. Because the minute we start talking about it, shame is broken. So we have to bring it to the light. That's why we keep talking about it. That's what we're going to keep doing. When so many people say, like, I had so many people tell me, just forgive him and move on, and you don't need to keep talking about it. And I'm like, I couldn't. Like, I took a few days. I had a few people tell me that, like, sit me down and tell me to stop talking about it. I took a few days and I was like, I physically can't stop talking about this. I have to warn other people. I was in it for 33 years and I didn't know what was happening to me. How can I just let that just keep going? I have to warn others.
Yeah.
So I'm so thankful when I run across people like you and so many others who are doing this work to help us get the word out and show us that it can happen to anybody.
And so don't shame yourself. Don't do that to yourself. Just keep getting educated. Look for the helpers. They are out there.
Yes, I love that.
And you can get to the other side.
Yes. Well, I think that's a great place to end when you can get to the other side. Thank you so much for like everything, for sharing everything that you do. And we're going to put everything in the show notes, but where's somewhere that people can get a hold of you if they want to work with you?
Yeah. So just go to my website, Dr. Nae, NAE.com. So many free resources, so many free assessments, so many free worksheets.
Great.
You can also send a message to my assistant if you want to do therapy with me. My community's up there if you want to join, which is $30 a month. $1
awesome.
a day. You get 4 support groups a week. I teach my book as a course once a week, and I bring in an expert every week. And it's to see these women support each other is like, wow.
I know.
And then just follow me on Instagram, The Real Dr. Nadine. I'm also on TikTok, Dr. Nae LMFT. So yeah, just come find me. I'm around.
Okay, great. And we'll put everything in the show notes. And so guys, please reach out to Dr. Nae. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much and everything you're doing. And it's been a pleasure talking to you today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you for joining me today on the That's Where I'm At podcast. Did the story today resonate with you? Do you think others would benefit from hearing the stories we are telling? Please go to Apple or Spotify right now to leave a review so everyone in podcast land will know you love the show. We want to continue sharing stories of hope and healing. I'll be back next time. I'll talk to you then.